Ladies and gents, welcome to the second ever episode of Poker Gauntlet. Today's contestant is trying to beat last week's contestant's score of 4.9 out of 10. On average, this is of course the show where a student gets 10 hands reviewed at random, each one assigned a score, and then an average score at the end. The best score at the end of the season will be that season's winner. This is the 25NL edition, and so we have 10 more 25NL hands today. The gauntlet is ruthless, and it's even more ruthless today because Carrot Corner coach Akshar Patel is joining me to review these 10 hands. If you're wondering what's going on at carrotcorner.co, Sebastian Wen's brand new series, Road to Pro, which isn't just about how to get really good at poker, it's also about how to navigate a bunch of challenges that you're going to face along your way as you try to get more serious about the game or even turn professional. The first 3 episodes of that have gone live today. Check out after the video. Now let's get to the second ever episode of Poker Gauntlet. What I want to get onto first, Akshar, I'm going to open WhatsApp here. They can't see this. I'm going to go to our conversation yesterday, which also went out in an email, but I said to you, what are 5 things that you would say are like epiphanies or realizations that you've had during your poker career that have added the most value? And I'm going to go through these one by one and get you to elaborate a little bit. So the first one here is really fascinating. You said you can increase your win rate against fish way more than you can against regs. So what did you mean by that? Right.
The things that you can do to affect your win rate against a reg is much smaller than the things you can do to affect your win rate against a fish. So studying how fish play is way more impactful to your win rate than studying how regs play because they make so many more mistakes, then so many more ways for you to capitalize on their mistakes than a reg would.
Yes, so they're further away from a good balanced strategy than a reg, and therefore the magnitude of EV that you gain by exploiting them is just greater than that which you could against a reg. That's a really cool concept. Right, let's get into it here. So this is an unknown student playing a 25NL hand with King Jack offsuit, and the first decision point is a complete in the small blind. Indian Destroyer, what do you say?
We should just be like isolating to like 6.5 big blinds or something, 7 big blinds, I don't know. So the recreational's limping range will be far too wide. Like, you want to put money into this pot against weaker players. I just want to raise like 5 or 6 big blinds here.
So check, and this is 3-way now. Big blind has come along. Big blind leads for pot, and it's called by under the gun. And we throw in the raise here to 10.76 big blinds. Is this too thin, or are you a fan?
No, I'm a huge fan. I want to get it in against both of them. I wouldn't care, to be honest. I mean, clearly this lead means very little. He's got 30 big blinds. If we get 30 big blinds in here, I'm fine with it.
Yep. Merged range as well. A lot of
Merge
the combos
ranges,
that beat
worst
us,
Jack
like
X,
raise
9X.
pre, like 9s, ace jack, etc. Raise pre-flop probably in big blind shoes some of the time. Yep, I'm a fan as well. I think this is good.
I just don't like the race. I think it's a bit small, is it not? 5.5, 7. It's okay. Let's think 6, 9. This
Pot becomes 12 and you make it like
yeah.
7 more?
Yeah, it's
Seven
too
and a
small,
half
right?
more?
It doesn't matter though. These guys are terrible, so fine.
And also there's not that many massively high equity
No.
draws or anything, so.
I think 15 is probably correct or something. But anyway, yeah, I digress. Fine. Fine, we raise them, which is completely fine.
So post flop, we have kind of full marks. Pre-flop, we have a bit of a disaster. What are you going to score this hand out of 10?
Shit. So pre-flop 0, post-flop 10. How else can you play it? Like, I guess the average of 0 and 10 is 5. So 5 out of 10.
I've been scoring gauntlet hands. Like, if they're really obvious, I refuse to give out 10s. Like, even though it might be flawless, I'm just giving people like 7s and stuff for playing like simple spots well. And then I'm reserving 9s and 10s in my YouTube series for like people that like find the fault of the lion, like creative play, like go for thin value where many people would check back, like things like this.
In which case I'm giving this a 3.5 then.
3.5 out of 10.
I think the post flop is not worth anything, and the pre flop was pretty bad, so I'll give it 3.5.
Pocket 7s, walking 6, under the gun, go for the open. very small, dumb fish 3-bet. Let's snap this all day. Goody goody. Rub your hands together with
No,
glee.
I think we should mix, but no, I'm
Yeah, we
kidding.
should roll. We should roll
We should
fold.
roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, roll fold. Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, good. I mean, yeah. Let's see how you play this.
Oh, I would just want to. I almost just want to fast play here.
I'm sticking it in. I don't give a
We
shit.
just jam,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I think the fish will call ace king as well, like sometimes randomly.
And this is
So
one of
I
these
do.
spots where like it's so texturally dependent, right? Like if this board came like king seven deuce, I would just call, and if it
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
like
yeah.
7 6 4, there's enough action killing turns here that I
I
think just
mean,
raise is good.
this guy's got kings or jacks or something, hasn't he? Or aces. He's got overpair
Extremely
so
strong
often.
range. Yep.
He's got overpair so often here that I just want to stick it in because I don't think they ever fold an overpair here. And I mean, they sometimes even just like lose their mind and call off some ace highs. So yeah, just stick it
Yep.
in. Okay,
Yeah, don't love this. I think this is a mistake. Right,
all
let's
in
jam.
again. Uh,
Oh, one other point here is that when fish are really, really merged like this, when like their ace king combos are going to bet call sometimes, what are their low EV bluffs? Like, what are the hands you think your opponent is blasting you on the river with here, but folding to your turn raise? Because if you can't find any of those, then you should just fast play. As Jorn says, strong hand versus strong range. Episode 1 of True EV. This was the first episode of True EV for a reason. It's a highly important spot for your win rate.
Yeah,
You've
so
got it.
this is like one of those things. It's probably the student has have some rules in their brain and they just don't have these ones, which is like I have a really strong hand. I don't want him to go anywhere, so I'm gonna like let him bluff his bluffs because I still get paid with these premium hands. But the thing you have to remember is this fish three bet from the big blind, so they're usually quite strong when they three bet, and then they don't have many post flop bluffs when they pop the flop. So just take your money.
Well, you get it anyway.
Yeah, I
High
mean, he's
EV
probably
draw.
calling that off on the flop, so it doesn't really matter. But I'll give that one a. So that's like a normally played hand. It's like you can't really screw that up. But then because you did somehow, I guess I'll give you a four.
All right, so far we have a 3.5 and a 4, which
I
is going
did
to
sleep
bring us
last
up
night,
to
but I feel really
7.
harsh already. So like, if you think about it, like how much worse can you play this
He could have
hand?
jammed pre, he could have folded pre,
Oh
he
yeah,
could
jam
have.
pre and fold pre. I guess so. Yeah. So maybe it's a two. I'll give it a three. I'll give it a three. I'll give it a
You're
three.
giving it a 3 now, so I've got
Yeah.
3.5 and 3, so we're up to 6.5 out of 20, which is not a very good start for this student. It can only really get better. Actually, that's not true. All right,
So
Snowman,
if we
Snowman.
know.
Let's go.
Oh, wait, 1 second. Let's go back the hand. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So like the only reason I asked Pete to go back is because if the big blind is a massive fish or a massive whale, then I don't think three betting is correct. But apart from that, we should do this every time.
Queen 8-7. This guy's good at sets, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I think here you can just go a bit bigger, and elasticity is not a huge thing on boards like this generally.
Yeah, there's
Most
like
of the hands that
a
are calling here are calling bigger, right, on this sort of texture usually.
yeah, there's like a bunch of spade drawers, bunch of 9, 10, bunch of 5, 6,
Nines,
bunch of backdoor
tens.
diamonds,
Yeah.
nines, tens, jacks, and then like the hands that don't call like ace four hearts. Well, they don't call anyway, so. Yeah, this is abysmal. That's my first instinct. I'm just trying to think, am I ever wrong? I can't
What
be
about
wrong.
anything in life?
Well, yeah, obviously, I'm talking about this hand. I kind of like betting large or check jamming. Like those are like my two things. Like these are
Mm,
quite like when the equities are quite close together. Like your sets aren't doing. They're doing very well. Don't get me wrong. You obviously like we want to put all the money in, but like there are obviously a lot of bad river cards for you. Diamond, 9, 10. Like there's a bunch of different like straight completing, flush completing cards, and your hand wants to put as much money as it can right now. And the hands that it puts money in against, like king, queen, and diamonds and heart and spades, like they can't really fold either. So like when you go small here, you just kind of um
let them off the hook.
give him a better price for his like flush draws and spade draws. So yeah,
Let's press on here and see what happens next. So we go for this sizing, which actually are called abysmal, a call, and I think all in is the most normal way to play this. There are two flush draws. There's some air that you minimize against, but I think there's just way more merge stuff and showdown value than there is miss draws here. So I'm all in. Any problem with that? Or are you checking extra?
no, absolutely, I'm not checking. Why
Okay,
would I
so we
check?
get that one right. Okay, so you need to give this hand a score. Just to recap, we 3-bet 8s, we got called, we went small on the flop. Villain called, we went for the smallish turn bet. Villain called, we jammed the river. Villain
I think
folded.
like I think a 6 is kind of fair.
Six
I think it's
was
six, yeah.
the best score Heroes picked up yet on hand number 3. Heroes currently on 12.5 out of
I
30.
mean, he three bet, he bet the flop, he bet the turn. Maybe not the size I'd want, but like that's just one error. So let's say six. You know.
Generally. Okay, let's move on to point number 2 that you gave me yesterday, where you said playing in a vacuum is way more important than hitting some hypothetical GTO strategy.
Yeah, so you very rarely get to play against the same person. When I used to play 100 and L, let's say there was a spot where I triple barreled or triple barreled for value or triple barreled as a bluff. That spot against that exact reg is basically never going to come up again. Like that exact reg just there's just not enough people where that I'm gonna get that exact spot again in that exact board where it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't even have to be exact. It won't even be close. Like maybe I have a triple barrel spot where everything busts or a triple barrel spot where everything gets there or whatever, right? There's so many different situations. So for them to be even topologically similar is very difficult. So that's why I truly believe that playing in a vacuum is way more important than like I'm gonna mix this combo X, Y, and Z or whatever it might be. Like just figuring out, okay, what is the best for me to do in this hand right now? Like what is this opponent has maybe this guy's like a huge calling station already doesn't like to fold. So I'm actually just gonna give up this bluff even though, it's a pure GTO bluff
Yeah.
or, things like that. So yeah.
I think that's a really hard thing to do, like giving up on a hand that GTO is giving you the green light to actually go ahead and try to win, because as humans we want to win pots, right? Psychologically we don't like the idea of like putting our babies out there and leaving them. Like sunken cost
hmm
fallacy is rife in our brains. And so whenever GTO says you can call here, you're allowed to, the blocker's good, you can bluff here, in fact you should bluff here, the blocker's good, it's incredibly difficult to say no thank you, I'm going to refrain from that because I actually think it to be worse to be minus EV. Yeah, I just can't believe what an utter scam solver copying is, and like how it's been able to gain so much precedence in the poker world. And I know that like the top players and like coaches and stables that are worth their salt don't teach in that way anymore, but there is still just so much content out there with people just being like, this is solver says this is this, do this, and it's like the end of it. And I just think it's like incredibly misleading. And I'm glad that you brought that one up. Okay, 3.4. I think we could fold here. I think we can just fold. Is this hand is like kind of trashy? Like, what are your thoughts on calling this hand at these pot odds?
I'm calling because clearly like these two are
Skill
both
edge.
idiots.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yep, fair. Ooh, that's a good
Um,
flop. That's a very good flop.
Three check.
Check,
So like
check,
right now,
check.
I would say we like have the best hand. Close to always. Like
Yep.
I don't think, yeah, like close to always we have the best hand. So um I would not check again very frequently here. But I just don't think I'll check again. I think I'm putting money in. Unfortunately, I don't think they have anything very much. So maybe we should check again. But like I
Thing is,
don't
though, I just
they
don't
don't they're
think.
not very aggressive in this
Exactly.
spot.
I just don't think this is a spot where like
So
the in position player, the hijack or whatever, is going to start blasting ace queen, ace king. I do think they cry and call ace king here, like at a fair frequency and stuff like that.
yeah, they will. They'll call some ace king. And they'll call their
Yeah.
club draws if they get them on the turn. Queen jack, 8-7. Probably just put in like a nice I wouldn't do anything stupid like
Yeah.
block.
I
Like if
just, I
I'm
just
playing
bet like
against
60% pot, 70% pot, something like
yeah,
that. I also want to
yeah.
make some money from fives, fours, sixes,
Fives,
sevens,
yeah, yeah.
eights in this range before the river's like a king, and then I can't do that, right? So I think it's very important we bet the turn here with only one player to act. I really don't think check is viable here at all. I'd go a
Oh
bit
yeah,
bigger,
fine.
but the spirit
Fine.
is right.
Yeah, I like the idea of this.
So now it's
Yeah, things
interesting.
change,
Now
right?
check raise is kind of
Yeah,
enticing.
yeah,
When
yeah,
Akshar and I
yeah.
review hands, by the way, we're just always on this like same wavelength, and it's really boring because we never disagree about anything. This is just the way it seems to
Well,
go here.
because as soon as we saw the jack, I think our brains went to like, okay, 8-7, king, queen complete. They're gonna put money in there.
Ace
Club
king, ace
draws
queen never calls but could bluff.
could bluff because if especially as a weaker player, some
Mm,
weaker club hands might bluff. Obviously, like we lose money against a nine exactly, but like, is a nine going to be incentivized to call a big bet? And this hand wants to put a
I don't
lot of
like
money into the
overbet. I
pot.
really don't like overbet here.
Exactly, exactly. So like, I think check jamming, check
Check jam.
raising is
Check
yeah,
jam. He's
check
going to
jam.
bet call off king queen, whereas if you overbet,
Yeah.
he'll just call it. If he's rivered like ace jack of clubs, he may well still value bet and may well still
Mm.
bet call. And he can bluff ace queen, ace king, which are now like seriously degraded and very unlikely to bluff catch again. So I'm not a fan of this at all. I much prefer check jam in this spot. But this is a kind of hard one to find, right? So I don't want
This
to
is
be
a
like
hard one.
too critical of this one.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too critical of this. This is a kind of a tricky one because like we both had the idea, oh no, we should check raise this river. because of everything we said. But I can understand why a student would just have the mindset that they would just bet. I'm expecting to see like King Queen or something or like Ace Jack. Yeah, I would expect that hand to reopen
Yeah,
because I mean
usually.
if it
And
yeah,
here's the thing, if you do go for the check raise here and this guy checks back queens, that's an unfortunate branch. And with
it's
every
just unlucky.
trade-off you choose, with every line you take, there are bad branches, right? So you shouldn't expect to never suffer a bad result for a good play. Every good play comes with its slew of bad branches. You're just trying to maximize, on average. Poker's a tree of possibilities. Make more of those possibilities good than bad, and you're going to do okay. So you need to give this a score now, Akshar, for the action sequence of bet turn half pot over bet river here. These were the only real choices. And call pre-flop, I guess, which is good.
Yeah, I think like six and a half.
So we're on 19 out of 40 for hands in. Let's go to hand number 5. This will be a 10 hand session.
Cool,
Squeezing
nice,
kings
nice,
here.
nice squeeze size.
Big
I like
sizing, I
it.
like it. Yep.
I would actually criticize only one thing, is if you know these guys are both fish, I don't know if you do, but given the way the action sequence just played out, I think they are. I would can even say you can go larger than this because they're quite inelastic, especially because you're very, very deep with the guy with 200 BBs,
Yep.
but
Love
fine.
it. Love it. Yeah, I think these are the things that people miss because they're like, okay, this is my toolkit, this is my standard sizing, and they don't really think outside the box enough.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a hand I played in America, in a live poker game where I put half my stack in pre-flop with kings, and the guy called anyway. So I was like, cool. Like I had like 1K, and I put like 500 in pre-flop,
Mm-hmm.
and he just called. So like you guys, there's no limit. It's no limit poker. So if you think they're not going to fold, put half your stack in pre-flop. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just saying like be open to the possibility of putting as much money as you need to put in against weaker players. And this is what I mean by the point that we went over before, which is your win rate against fish is way higher. Because if you know the guy doesn't is in completely inelastic pre-flop because they just want to gamble, they just want to see
Mm-hmm.
the flop. It's a criminal offense not to put as much money as you possibly can when you have a good hand.
Yeah, especially if they're playing like a just a rabbit hunting fit or fold kind of strategy where they're like, okay, I'm gonna look at the flop, and then if I don't like it, I'm gonna fold, and they're not really sensitive to sizing. Like, yeah, this is sin not to just go bigger. Okay, I'm
Uh,
just checking here for transparency. I don't think there's really any
yeah, yeah,
argument
yeah.
about flop here. This is a clear check. Good.
Beautiful. You can just fold and move on with your life, I think.
I love it. So one of the things that helps redline the most is when we don't invest extra for just one more street or can't fold yet or got to call one or whatever reason. That actually brings your red line right down because like ask yourself, how often do you end up folding in this hand if you call the flop? And then the times you don't end up folding, how often do you end up winning? And when you multiply all of that together, I don't think you have 14% EV share here in this hand. I think you have like single digits.
Oh, nice fold. Okay, sweet. I mean, to me, it's a standard fold, but I guess at 25 and now, maybe they call too
A
much.
lot
So
of the
I'm
time they
gonna
call
give this
here,
a,
so I'm
I'm gonna
impressed.
give this a 7 then. I'm gonna give this a 7. That's nice.
Yep, I think seven's fair. Maybe even eight, but yeah, let's go with seven.
I'm a harsh guy. Seven is good.
Yeah, I like it. That's the whole gauntlet style. So we are 26 out of 50. Good fold, hero. Good job.
Good fold. I like
Okay.
this. This is
Yep.
good.
This is good. It's three betting a little bit wider. This is a mixed equilibrium, but just doing it against the 3x open every single time when you have the button when you're in position is just the thing you should do.
Yeah, I like this. I like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. It's fine. Cool.
I think I just bet the turn. I'm feeling kind of
Yeah, I think
greedy
I
here,
just bet the
actually.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of like, I mean, I assume this guy is a weaker player. He's playing 24 now. He opened 3x. There's a lot of ace 10, ace 9, ace 8 suited, ace 6 suited, some king queens. So yeah, like I gotta just put some money in again. Yeah, I like putting
They're
two bets in
probably
here.
fast playing most of the hands that beat you at equilibrium as well. Like ace, like when you bet this small, like ace five, ace queen, pocket
They
fives,
raise a
very
lot.
very likely to raise the flop. Not always, but very likely. The four is just a really really good card for your hand. It's just boosting your equity even further. I would definitely bet the turn here and just go for three streets. The thing is that if you think the investment ceiling of the hand in theory isn't worth three streets, then okay, you can check. But you have to remember you're not in theory. You're playing against the recreational who 3x and then called a 3-bet. And this hand will have a higher investment ceiling against this player. And you need to be greedy because rec players are in there to flop top pair and then call 3-bets in a 3-bet pot. Or even with second pair. So don't like the check here.
I think I'm still putting it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting it in. Yeah, yeah. Ace 10, ace 9, ace 8. I just don't expect the recreationals to ever fold trips. And yes, we will sometimes lose to like ace 4 and ace 5, maybe. and maybe ace queen, but I don't think those are enough trip combos, considering that I don't think they ever fold a trips combo.
Well, here's the thing. How many combos of ace four are there? All of the aces are blocked,
Uh,
and the four of spades is the other suit. So there are zero combos of ace four suited. There's one
Suited,
combo of
yeah.
ace five suited. Okay, the rec might be opening ace four off from this position, but
But
not
then they
all
have
recs
more
are.
ace eight. But even if they are, that means they also have like more combos of like ace eight off and
Yeah,
ace nine
awesome
off.
point.
So I'm just thinking like I didn't really do the combo counting. I just kind of did an estimation in my head, and I think we should just always go all in.
Hero decided to. Well,
Yeah, this guy says he timed out the river, and cool, that's what he says. But I'm gonna judge it based on what's happened.
yeah.
And I
So
think
it's
based on
uses on
what's
Gauntlet.
happened, I'm giving this. So pre-flop good, flop good, turn bad, river bad. Um, so I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Yeah, 4.5.
Okay, number three. You might get some pushback for this from the community, though. I think I just fully agree these days. Using an RNG is silly, you said to me yesterday.
Let's just say like in every situation that you play in, um, what is the probability that the person you're playing against is an exact balance solver in every single spot? It's like zero. So you should be looking for the maximally exploitative play. So like let's say we have a situation where on the button with pocket eights, a guy on the button opens, and you have pocket eights, and you're like, oh, I should mix three, but I should mix call. Like that's just false. Like look at the small blind, look at the big blind. Are there any weaker players? Does flatting make more sense? And if that doesn't happen, okay, look at the guy who opened. Is he going to four bet me aggressively, more aggressively than GTO? Is he going to four bet me less aggressively than GTO? Can I go bigger? Like there's so many different things you can do before
Mm,
you even have to think about an RNG. I just think it's stupid to even like that have that because there's so many ways you can start off without not needing an RNG. So like if you're getting to the point where you need an RNG, then I don't think you personally thought through the hand well enough.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, I
unless
guess,
you're playing like 10k now against Linus, fair enough. But
sure.
apart from that, I can't imagine a spot.
So maybe it could be that there are some spots that are like close enough or unclear enough that we're not entirely sure what's best. But even in that situation, whether you just pick an action or use an RNG
Yeah,
doesn't actually matter. And I think the
exactly.
bigger point here is that using the RNG, the temptation and the pitfall is that we end up using it prematurely before we've actually gone through the motions of asking these key questions that might well differentiate one line from another in terms of
Truvy.
True.
Got it. All right, let's see how this ace queen. So get three bet. Probably I don't know much about the villain, but probably would like to see some four bets. Um, yeah, that's it. But it's fine, whatever.
I don't think it's too bad to
Calling.
fold this either.
It's not, but this is a weaker site, so
Mm,
I generally lean towards not folding if I don't have to.
yeah, fair enough. Go for third pot here, and we
I would
decide to
probably
call.
raise.
So
I
this
mean,
is
it is
interesting.
early position.
Yeah, it's close. Like one thought I'm having here is like if you raise the times you're ahead of like tens, jacks, nines, king, queen, queen, jack, etc., you're really maximizing because this is gonna like be this will slow down quite a lot, like on turn and river.
Hmm.
Okay, as played, we call. Villain goes for a big turn bet. Just calling again.
Yeah, I mean, I like obviously like we have good blockers against the king. I think so. Yeah, we just hit call. I mean, I'm not folding even at this pool, but I think if he triples, I might have to just let it go.
Yep.
Let's go.
Check
He
check.
checks back. Okay.
4 or 5 of
Yeah.
hearts.
And this is
Okay.
why we fold the river because this probably should be pure
Oh,
jam.
this is pure. This is absolutely
Yeah,
pure.
yeah.
If this isn't pure, like I don't know what is.
Well played. I'm gonna give this one 6.5.
Bunch of limping 4x by small blind. Call by us. Happy?
I think it's okay. Yeah, I mean, like these spots are always tricky because, like, yeah, you expect this guy to jam over sometimes, but
I'd
it's
also just
whatever.
wish he had more, just for like the implied
Yeah,
offside of
yeah.
the
You
tree as
want you
well.
want him to have more, but I think it's still like a good enough hand to risk
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Okay, so small blind was the razor, and they go for a check, which does open the door to us like stabbing if we want to here.
mm,
Feels a bit thin, especially with like this player being volatile at short stack. I think I'd probably just like to check and see what develops in the spot, but I don't know. I could be convinced that betting's not too bad, but I don't think I would.
no, I think checking is fine. Like with a hand that's if I have a hand that can like that doesn't mind getting in 28 big blinds. Like if I had some kind of diamond draw, these kind of hands, then like that isn't great, but like I will have the pot odds to call it off if I
Hmm.
get jammed on, then I will just bet those hands. But this time, like it just wants to check. If the small blind checks again, then I'm gonna start bluffing.
Yep.
But yeah.
And that's like uber transparency at that point, right? When it
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
check, 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 and you've had like three non-procedural checks total here, like you
You're
feel
gonna get it
way
through quite
better,
often.
right? Whereas here you're kind of like betting into a dark tunnel when you're about to have a light turned on, so you may as well just wait.
Yeah,
Love it.
fold, probably.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think we
think
can
we've got.
continue.
I don't think we like the six of diamonds is tainted, and I just don't think we've got
Three
anywhere near the
outs. We
implied
have no
suit.
we have no way to bluff either. Like one of the things I look for is, do we have any ability to bluff? And it's like no.
Future fold equity is zero.
Mhm.
Okay, great fold. I like pre. I like this hand. I mean, this hand is just like bread and milk
Yeah,
with
we'll
solid
give
stuff.
we'll give this a seven. I
Nice.
don't think he's. I don't think we can give it more than a seven because it's not like something too
It's
complicated. I mean,
possible to screw it
actually,
up.
actually, I think you can screw it up. I think you can. So maybe 7.5. We'll give him 7.5 there.
Pocket ducks. Hand number 9. We open the
Okay.
button. It gets 3-bet. It gets called. Little cheeky set mine with the ducks.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I'm folding this spot with two players in the pot, and one of them is going to be just a weaker player. I assume big blind is weaker. So yeah, let's stick it in. Let's find a deuce.
Let's search for the deuce of clubs. I'm feeling the deuce of clubs in this one.
I mean, in this spot, I think like even deuces is better than a hand like sevens or eights because deuces will make sets when the board doesn't connect as much.
True.
Like when you
Then
have a seven
there's
or
a
an
more
eight.
set over set though, three-way. I feel like I want to push back there
Yeah, of course,
slightly. I don't know
but
how those two things
a few
really.
percentage points there, here or there. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's
Run
not get
it,
into a
deuce.
huge one of our big arguments about like which of those factors is most important. Deuce one time dealer. Come on. No deuce.
No deuce, no dice.
Is this as simple as no say it, no be it? Or is this actually some kind of like okay protection semi value thing? I mean, I do expect small blind to be underprotected here. And big blind is a fish, but big blind has a lot of like pocket pair in their range here. Yeah, I think I'd check. I don't like hate betting. I think I'd check.
I think with both deuces being live, I kind of want to bet.
Mm.
I'm gonna take a, I'm gonna take like a different approach where it's like small blind basically never has a hand here. Like I would say
At
that.
these stakes, I think that's a pretty
Yeah,
safe assumption. It's low
yeah. So
frequency.
we're
Yep.
we're basically playing against big blind who kind of checked, and even big blind like the fishes are gonna bet nines and tens and even sevens as a merge, eight
True,
X.
actually, yeah, because the three better
So
just
like
checked. I was forgetting that he had a procedure. He had a like non-procedural check there.
yeah,
The big
yeah.
blind. Yeah, okay, fair. And also like while small blind's hand might never really be or very rarely be an overpair, the fact that there's another player with more of the live cards that can come on the turn and river makes us more eager for protection. So very protection hungry kind of hand, this one.
Yeah, it's a protection hungry hand, but also like we can also just suck out because both our deuces are live on the 6/6. So I kind of like just sticking in like a 1/3 size bet.
Yeah,
But yeah,
see what happens. And if it does go call by small blind, you might even be getting value from like a load of ace king, ace
yeah,
queen
you're getting
combos
value from
there.
ace king and ace queen there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
precisely.
What's he doing? He checks flop. So Akshar, this is probably where you're just like more experienced than me about how
Yeah,
fish are playing, right? Because like I don't. Okay, this might not be a fish, but like I'm assuming that at 25 ignition, most people are right until proven otherwise. So is this just like polarization error, central ace queen, ace king, ace jack, king queen? Or are you now
yeah.
adjusting your like assessment of how many overpairs they have? Or are you sticking with that original flop read that was just like really
No,
strong?
I'm sticking with my flop read. I think I'm gonna cool down, barring some like ridiculous river cards.
Oh, this guy calls. That's a shame.
Yeah, at this point, I think we're letting it go.
Yeah.
But like, I think if it was like a heads up spot, the big blind fold, I think I'm actually just gonna end up calling down because this has a nice property that it's at what we call a low board, below 10 or lower. So there's a lot more like overcards, ace 10, ace jack, ace queen, ace king, king queen, king jack, all these
Hmm.
like queen jack combos. There's a lot of combos like queen nine. They outweigh the overpairs by so much because the overpairs are so incentivized to bet the flop.
And if this
So.
player was, if the big blind was like a tight, passive, nitty player here, I think I would raise to 43 big blinds on the turn.
Oh fuck. I don't know if I can swear, but Really?
Sorry.
You're thinking about just bluffing this spot?
Only if I had a read of the big blind was like really nitty
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
tight. Like I don't think I'd do it against a random cold caller at 25 now because they're probably just not
Yeah.
folding jacks. But like if I had that read, I guess my point is just that like it looks super strong to someone who
Trying
can
to say
call,
like fours.
and I get denial against the small blinds over cards, and I just like probably get this guy to fold sevens and nines and all of that stuff. I don't know if it's so great. I don't think it's ridiculous here, but I think I'm probably folding. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, I
could have
like to
bet the
fold.
flop.
I kind of want to know what small blind has, to be honest.
Ace king.
Yeah, he's got nothing. Yeah.
He's got ace king,
Uh,
and he doesn't understand that he should check the turn. This guy has
yeah.
nines.
Yeah, let's see. Check.
Ace
Ace 10.
10,
Yeah,
right?
this is just drowning in bluff combos, right? That's what I'm saying.
Chat.
Like, I think we have to pull down.
Let's bet chat. No, if I'm allowed to bet with the chat actually, because Twitch, blah blah blah. Well, I'm gonna bet pride. I'm gonna bet 11 ounces of pride that this guy has nines. Would anyone like to make a counter bet? I've not seen this hand. I'm not looking
Yeah,
at any other window.
this is ignition. So I'm gonna say this guy's king jack off. Yes, you laugh. You laugh. Watch. I've not seen king jack off it.
King queen of spades. Okay, that makes sense. Ace eight of spades. See, they're all putting him on a flush draw because they're like, I see two spades, so I guess two spades. Look, they're all guessing spades. They're all doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh my God, the fucking ace king or flush draws. That's the only two hands that people can
Nah, I'm
have in
going
this
nines,
game.
man. I'm sticking to nines. Let's see.
I don't think it's nine. I think it's nine's bets.
Oh my god, D Chen. You fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
D Chen.
I was gonna say I don't think it's nines because I think nine's bets,
Bets when
which is
check to
why.
one flop.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I think any pair. I think a recreational is betting like almost any pair in this spot. Um, he giving him a free sub. That's nice.
Yeah, he deserves it
That's
for getting the hand
pretty good
exactly
to
right.
read.
Anyway, this is hand 9, Akshar. We've got 1 to go. What are you giving Hero here?
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are on
It's hard to
49 and a
rate these
half.
hands where you kind of get you get kind of you
That's
kind of get
hard.
your hands tied. You know, like his hands were tied on the turn. Not got really much
So
to do
unless
now.
Hero actually gets a 0 on the last hand, he's guaranteed over 50% on the Gauntlet. So number 4 is strong mental game is worth more than a strong technical game. So this one actually, I think, will be shocking to a lot of people out there. What do you mean by that? Do you mean for like the pro? Or do you mean like for win rate? Or how exactly should we unpack that statement?
It doesn't matter how good you are technically. If you can't play an entire year of poker, what is the point of your technical skill? Because you collapsed after month one because you ran into like 20 callers or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
some really bad spots. So the idea here is simply that the more resilient poker players are better or they're worth more in terms of like actually getting what you want out of the game
Mm-hmm.
rather than someone who's the best poker player in the world. Let's say I'd take a player who's not so good, but is like willing to grind and like just take the hits as they come over
Yep.
someone who's immensely good, but
Falls apart.
they can't, but they fall apart a lot easier. Yeah.
Yep.
If we know this guy's a weaker player, then I don't mind this because
Yeah,
it's
I don't
three
mind this
big.
at all.
Yeah, you can put more money in. Like it's not bad. Okay, yeah, fine. Got lots of tens, nines. Okay, so if I was against a reg at like 200 zoom, I probably would be kind of like there's more like queens in this set this
Yeah.
there's like no we don't have like a slam dunk bet in this spot. But if this is like some random fish, then I think we actually have a slam bet. But that's pretty much yeah. Let's see what we do.
So we check,
Given
they
that
check back.
given that
Mm-hmm.
we three bet pre, I'm assuming this guy's a fish. But maybe you don't know your ranges, maybe you don't understand that this is like a polar spot. So yeah, fine.
I don't know about turn. I mean, I think it's fairly close here because there's some hands that invest by betting, but not by calling. Like there's ace queens and ace tens and stuff. It's not. I don't think it's a horrendous turn check, but I think my instinct was a slight preference for betting, but I don't think I'm that bothered here actually.
Well, if it's a recreational, I just want to bet because they will call
Sure,
too wide. Sixes, sevens,
agree.
nines, a 9-10, Jack X. Like this is the thing, right? They just call
Yeah.
too wide.
Then you need to
So yeah.
unshackle yourself from the mindset that you're like in an early configuration and your opponent
Yeah.
respects that and
Exactly.
will react accordingly to
Yeah.
it.
So that's why I was like, I don't know who the villain is. So I'm seeking like there's the point of view where this guy's a really strong player, but if that guy is a really strong player, then I probably wouldn't three bet King Jack suited
Right.
against 3x. But then like strong players don't open 3x. So I'm gonna
And
assume he's a weaker player.
And also, like, if you're in the Sahara Desert and there's an animal, like, walking along beside you, it's probably a camel. Whereas when you're in 25 Ignition and someone opens 3x under the gun, it's probably a camel.
So yeah, based on all that, I would like to see a bet on the turn. Yeah, fine, river, maybe the
Go a
10
bit
isn't
bigger,
the
maybe.
best, but maybe a
Yeah,
little bit bigger, yeah.
yeah.
35. Expect to see nines. Okay, ace jack, unlucky.
All right, what are you
Um,
giving this hand then? Hero didn't bet the turn, but other than that, they played the hand fairly okay.
yeah, I think 6.5, 7. 7 is good. I'll go 7.
And finally, you said even the strongest players in the world are human and will make mistakes. It's up to you to find them and put them in those spots.
I
So,
think, yeah, go on.
yeah, like, I guess this
Oh,
is somewhat. I don't want to say it's contradictory to point one. You can increase your win rate against fish more than versus regs.
I was gonna say that,
I
yeah, yeah.
guess, yeah, I guess what you're saying here is that, like, it's not worth spending as much time on this as it is on point one, but, like, there
Hmm.
are still, like, you don't need to be afraid of people just because they're good. They're still human, they're still mortal, they're still going to make mistakes, and you can still figure out what they are.
Pretty much. So like my whole concept here is like there's no it's poker, it's not chess. You won't lose every single time to the best player in the world. They will also make mistakes. There will be parts of the game tree that you are more adept at handling than they are. And basically this is just about understanding that everyone that plays poker is not a GTO bot and everyone is human. So if you have the will, you can find. So I think one of the biggest winners is a guy. I can't remember what his name is at the moment, but there's some American guy who was playing on Ignition and stuff. Yeah, right? But if you go into if you like put his hands, or you put his hands in a tracker, or you put his hands in hand to note, you can find all his leaks. I
Mm-hmm.
could systematically go through his game and build a game plan to absolutely destroy this guy. And he's
Yep.
one of the best players in the world, right?
Yep.
So my point is basically like if you have you don't no one is infallible in this game. Like everyone's making mistakes. Even the best players in the world, if you can get all their hands and you can put them in a database and you can run it through GTO solvers or whatever, you can find exact leaks for people.
And you could even say that,
Um,
like, the fact that he's doing really, really well results wise is almost testament to the fact that he is not unexploitable. Because if he was unexploitable, he would be
yes.
unexploitative, and then he wouldn't be maximizing against his pool, right? His competition. So the final score for this hero, rather, sorry for calling you a
Villain
villain,
hero.
is 56.5 out of 100. 56.5 on the Gauntlet. 5.65 out of 10. That's not a bad score. Don't be disheartened with that. I know if you did like a test in school and you got 56.5%, you'd be like, meh, it's like a C. But honestly, it's so hard to get an A on Gauntlet because like spots have to come up that are testing and then you have to nail those spots. So this is a solid score. I'd be happy with that actually.
I think you played pretty good. I don't think there's that many bad things. Like I think this ace jack actually proves that you made a good three bet here as well because this is just a fold pre-flop,
Yep.
like to the three bet. So obviously this guy's too wide.
Yeah, and if he's calling
Just
this, he's calling
unfortunate.
a bunch of dominated stuff and like low
Hmm.
cards and too many pocket pairs that he's not going to be able to realize with and all of that. All right, Akshar, this has been really fun. We'll get this made into a YouTube video. Your 3 videos are live on Carrot Corner right now where you review the game of students. How mean were you in those, or were you like really behaved because you were making your first 3 videos for Carrot Corner?
I was just my normal self.
Fair.
I'm always my normal. I don't think I have this different modes of operation. I just always just say what I think, and
Endearing.
that sometimes gets me in trouble. But I think most
You
of the
really
time
are
people.
like the most open book ever, but it's kind of hard to be upset with you because like there's never any malice because you're just being honest all the time. So like even when you were like Pete Slow EVs, like 7 Deuce under the gun, I was like, that's fine. The dude just had that thought in that moment and wanted to express it. That's okay, like
No, that was just a joke.
I know, I
I
know.
didn't mean that, but yeah, yeah. No, generally speaking, like I don't really like have different modes. Like, I just I'm not trying to be mean, obviously. Like, we want
Mhm.
everyone to get better in the Carrot Corner community. Um, do check out the videos, like, and if you guys do want your sessions reviewed, I am open to it as long as you guys have good video quality. Just send me a message on the this. You guys know who I am on Discord for sure. Just send me a message, and if you're interested, I'm happy to do a review session for you guys. Preferably, we want people that are above 25 and now. But I will do lower stakes reviews if that is what people want.
25 or above, right? It's like you're
Yeah,
kind of
25 plus.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's have you back on stream sometime soon. And yeah, loads more Gauntlet episodes to look forward to on YouTube. If you do want to subscribe to Carrot Corner, head over to carrotcorner.com, put exclamation mark sub in the chat, exclamation mark late bird in the chat. We'll tell you about the late bird discount. You get £50 off your annual subscription. You can lock that in for a very cheap price up until June 6th. Well worth doing. And we have new series dropping from Alex Cruiser Sebastian. The next few weeks, we have 2 new coaches lined up for after that as well. We're already on 11 coaches. We'll be up to 13. We're already on 31 videos. No, 34 videos. We'll be up to 40 in no time. Check out Carrot Corner. This has been fun, guys. We'll catch you soon.